Hello everybody, Tegan here with High Point. ZWO just released their brand new EAFN and EAF Pro, which are bracket-style autofocusers that make a significant step towards full automation of your astrophotography imaging rig. With the release of these new autofocusers, we found that this was a perfect opportunity to explain to you what an EAF is, how to attach it to your telescope, and how it works within the ASIAIR interface. So without further ado, like, subscribe, and stay tuned. The EAFN and the EAF Pro are the two new iterations of autofocusers released by ZWO. In this video, we're going to be focusing on the EAFN. Now, while both of these attach and mount to your telescope in the same way, the EAF Pro has some incredible features that we are going to want to dive into in a bit more detail. So with that, let's talk about the EAFN, what it is, and how it works. Now, this is an EAF, or an electronic autofocuser. It replaces your telescope's coarse adjustment focus knob and essentially acts as an automation device that makes minor focus adjustments to achieve the most precise focus possible. This is all done within the ASIAIR app or your preferred astrophotography control software. For this video, we're going to be using the ASI 2600 MC Air, which is a dedicated astronomy camera, but also within it, you have the ASIAIR control software. This is all controlled through your smartphone, which gives you access to the ASIAIR app. Within the ASIAIR app, the EAFN allows you to choose how often to refocus your telescope, which helps maintain precise focus throughout the entire night. It even allows you to refocus during filter changes and changes in ambient temperature. These autofocusers are designed so that they get you the sharpest images possible by creating what is known as a V-curve. This is when the EAF iteratively searches for the best point of focus given your equipment and your external conditions. So now that we have a bit more understanding of what an EAF is, let's dive into the specs of the EAFN. First and foremost, the EAFN boasts the same sleek design as the original. It has a step angle of 7.5 degrees and an improved gear reduction ratio of 1 to 128. On the back of the EAF, you'll find the optional hand controller port as well as the welcomed USB-C power and data transfer port, which we all appreciate as it helps reduce the number of cables we have to manage. On the front of the EAFN, you'll find the 4mm coupler shafts, 2 mounting holes, and if you've ever used an EAF in the past, you might notice that this one is about 22% lighter than the original design, but can still manage that 11-pound payload capacity. Now that we've gone over the specs, let's see what comes in the box, and then we're going to talk about mounting it to your telescope. When you open the box, you'll find the focus motor itself, a ZWO EAF mounting bracket. You'll also find several sized couplers, including a 4 to 4mm, a 4 to 5mm, a 4 to 6mm, and a 4 to 7mm, offering a large amount of compatibility options across a variety of different telescopes. You'll also find a set of M4 and M5 hex screws with washers for mounting your EAF bracket. You'll find a USB-C to USB-A cable, and lastly, a few Allen keys to help you out. The EAF comes with everything out of the box that will allow you to attach it to most telescopes. If you have a Celestron Schmidt-Cassegrain or a Takahashi refractor, then you will need a specialty adapter that does not come included with the EAF. We will post a link in the description below directly to the webpage for both of those adapters. Now today we're going to be installing the EAF on the ASIAIR Carbon Star 8RC as well as the ASIAIR 103 triplet refractor. Now the installation process is going to be similar for most telescopes, so we're going to show you two today. To start it off, both of these telescopes have a coarse adjustment knob that you'll need to remove to attach the EAF. On the ASIAIR 8RC, you should see a small hex bolt located inside the coarse knob or around the knob itself. Loosen this and simply remove the coarse adjustment knob. The ASIAIR 3 has one located in a similar position. Remove this coarse adjustment knob in the same fashion. Next, find the coupler that best fits the size of your telescope's focus shaft. In this instance, the ASIAIR 8RC uses the 4 to 5mm coupler. Tighten the coupler down to the focuser with the appropriate hex key. For the ASIAIR 103, the focuser shaft requires that we use the 4 to 6 mm coupler. We'll tighten this down just as we did with the Aperture 8RC. Once this is complete, insert the EAF body into the other side of the coupler and tighten it down. The EAF looks to be upside down in this instance because I've rotated the telescope 180 degrees for easier installation. We can repeat this process with the ASIAIR 103 as well. Now, attaching the EAF bracket is pretty self-explanatory too. For the 8RC, remove the tension knob and then put the bracket in place. Use 2 of the included M4 hex bolts to fasten the bracket to the face of the EAF itself, but only finger tight for now. Then we use the other 2 M4 hex bolts to fasten the bracket to the bottom of the focuser itself, again just finger tight. Once everything is secure and aligned, tighten all 4 hex bolts down with your Allen key. You can then replace the tension knob back in the same position. For the ASIAIR 103, we'll also use the M4 hex bolts to tighten the bracket down to the EAF face, just as we did with the Aperture 8RC. After this, we'll mount the bracket to the ASIAIR focuser using the remaining 2 M4 hex bolts. We can tighten those down securely with the hex key when we're finished. Now, all telescopes are going to have a slightly different configuration of attachment points on the focuser, which is why ZWO created the bracket with these long slots, as well as flexibility in the couplers themselves to allow you to move the bracket in the EAF up, down, and left and right. When you're attaching your EAF and bracket, it doesn't need to be perfect. These couplers are designed to flex to accommodate for a myriad of different types of focusers. If you have any questions about telescope compatibility with the EAFN, let us know in the comments below and we'll be more than happy to assist. So now we're going to dive in a bit more detail on how to connect the EAFN to the app, how to power it, and how to use its basic functions within the ASIAIR app. While this is not a full tutorial, we will still show you the basic functionality and uses of the EAFN within the app. So here we have the entire imaging rig set up with the EAF installed and ready to power on. Now, an important note, the back of the ASIAIR does have a USB-C slot, but a USB-C to USB-C cable is not compatible to attach or power the EAF to the camera. You must use the included USB-C to USB-A cable. When I open the ASIAIR app, all of my accessories and cameras may be connected to the ASIAIR automatically. To check and see if your EAF is connected properly, select the EAF button at the top of the page, use the drop-down menu to select your EAF, and toggle the switch to show that it is green. If it's already green, then you are already successfully connected to the EAF. From here, navigate back to the home page and start taking some test exposures. Before you run your autofocus routine, you want to make sure that your stars are in near focus by using the manual adjustment arrows on the left side of the screen. Make the necessary adjustments to achieve a good starting point for the autofocus routine. When you are finished with this step, you'll find an AF or autofocus button below the arrows you've used to manually adjust your focus. Select this AF button, set your binning and exposure settings on the right as needed, and hit the play button to start your autofocus routine. Over the next few minutes, the EAFN should then create that V-curve that we talked about to achieve perfect focus. Once your focus routine is complete, you can go back to the preview mode and take another test exposure and ensure that you are in fact in sharp focus. Having used electronic autofocusers for years, the ZWO EAFN has greatly improved my ability to capture stunning images of the night sky with ease, and more importantly, without the hassle of having to wake up in the middle of the night to refocus every hour to make sure that my stars are sharp. It has helped make automating an imaging rig more of a reality, and it has certainly helped me achieve sharp stars with much less effort. So that is our full review on the EAFN from ZWO. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below and we'll be more than happy to assist. Again, my name's Tegan with High Point. Thank you so much for tuning in, and clear skies.